So we mentioned we didn't exist. Who created us? Allah created us. Why did Allah create us? To worship Him alone. Very good. And we mentioned that He's the only one worthy of worship. Right? So this is why we were created. Okay? What does the term worship mean?
To submit.
Submit is related to, what's the definition we gave for worship? If we were created to worship Allah alone, this is why we were created, this is why we exist. It's very important we understand what that word means, right?
Is it a term referring to everything Allah loves?
Excellent. Yes, worship is a term referring to everything that Allah loves. Was there anything else that you wrote? Refers to everything that Allah loves from, or whether it be?
Allah is pleased by an action or speech, inward or outward.
Right. So for example, actions, things that you do physically, or speech, things that you say, whether it be outward, manifested that people can see, or inward, things that you think about or things that you feel. So worship, an easy way to remember this is worship is a term that refers to everything that Allah loves. Okay? Everything that Allah loves. All right? How do we know how to worship Allah?
Because of the Quran.
Because of the Quran and what else? There's two sources. The Quran and the Hadith. What's the Hadith? Teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? Very good. Now what are the two conditions for our acts of worship to be accepted? Okay?
Sincerity and following the...
All right, so number one is sincerity. Okay, what does sincerity mean?
From the heart.
You're doing it from the heart for who? For why? What are you doing it for?
For God.
For Allah alone, right? So if we want our acts of worship to be accepted, there's two conditions. Number one, sincerity. Does anyone remember the Arabic word? Ikhlas, very good. Sincerity, ikhlas, it means that you are doing it for Allah alone. So let's say that you are about to pray at the masjid. What is something that would interfere with your sincerity, with your ikhlas? What's an example?
If you're doing it for other people to see and think that you're religious.
Very good, yes. So like showing off, for example. I'm going to pray and I'm going to do it to show off and I want people to think that I'm religious, right? Are you doing it for Allah alone? No, you're doing it so that people will look at you and think that you're religious, right? So it's very important to always check our sincerity because this is something that can change. Okay, so you always want to remind yourself and ask Allah for sincerity, that you're doing it for Him alone. Okay, and what's the second condition for acts of worship to be accepted? Very good. They have to be in line with, we can say, with Islam, meaning the Quran and Sunnah. So for example, if we're going to pray, right, we know that praying is an act of worship. How do we know how to pray? Quran and Sunnah. Specifically, who showed us how to pray? Your parents, okay. How do they know how to pray?
Their parents.
Okay, all the way back to who? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right?